Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yours.
Welcome back. It's a brand new season of CGL.
This is just an absolute treat. These players are so damn good.
The talent on these teams is undeniable. Everybody on every team right now is making plays.
It's going to be an exciting start to the season, and it'll just get better from here on out.
We're about to step into a whole new era of Overwatch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss. Look who's starting it all off, it's Raven. No one necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
What a nice roll through! He's just gonna solidify everything within those.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill 4 anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters here.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
NKC, but the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Lores, you're gonna be able to find these shots true.
Inu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes the Natalie immediately in back. Fine skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2-3. So back and forth.
Everybody, thank you very much for joining us here as things beginning to wrap up here in CGL in the playoffs. But while a couple of divisions are very much set in place, we have one that we still have yet to decide a grand finalist for, but one of them will indeed be decided today here in the EU Masters division. We got VA Cat Plague going up against Stream Raiders. The winner Gonna go into the grand finals. The loser, though, gonna have to fight for their life in the losers finals instead. Naya, this is one of those games we're going into this year. I'm very excited to look at this and think that I don't think this is a one-sided match by any means. No winners finals should ever feel like that either.
Yeah, VA Cat Plague and Dream Eaters, trying to make a statement here tonight up in this division of EU Masters playoffs. But as you did say, it's going to be that 50-50 battle that we will be watching here. And that competition will be legendary. But let's take a look at this bracket here up on how these two teams have made it. And as you can see, the scoreline sheets have been pretty solid for both of the teams getting to that winners round 3. But as well, that losers bracket is also kind of cooking too.
Yeah, it's a little messy around all things considered, but I mean, if there's one team that's clearly has come on top in the situation, it is Anomaly, who is already going to be waiting for the loser of this game. So whoever ends up losing this, they very much already know who they're going to go up against. And if I'm that Anomaly squad right now, I'm 100% watching this game because of the path is to get to the grand finals. You will have to face both of these teams. The order is just not going to be decided until we're done with this series. So, yeah, I'd be hoping to learn a lot if I'm in that situation right here. And by no means do I want to lose this match, because even though you have a second life here, we haven't seen these teams get to react to losing in the playoffs yet. To be fair,
exactly,
we don't know what it's going to be like if that happens.
Yeah, if they do get shifted down to that lower bracket, you could see Anomaly, pull a huge upset up on one of these two teams, depending upon how it happens. But, we have VA Cat Plague and Dream Eaters taking it on into Samoa here for our first map set. I do kind of expect some dive, maybe some brawl, and some rush happen here, but we also have these hero bands that can come up into play here in this series.
Yeah, of course, Dream Eater is going to get that first pick to get things going. And a lot of things that we have seen throughout the playoffs here as teams have gotten very comfortable with getting these bans through is a lot of the support category ends up being really shot at. We see a lot of early bans on characters like Juno, like Brig, like Kiriko. It seems to happen a fair amount. But on a map like Samoa, where I think something in the tank category can be very impactful, it's a scenario where having the first pick, Naya, do you decide to ban something away, or do you go for a protection ban just to solidify that you can run something?
It really depends upon what these two teams are definitely trying to think here. I think both choices are pretty valid, but this will be a tank ban, and getting rid of the Ramatra, you really don't got to worry about the slows no more. Yeah, I got to say, that's pretty valid for the ban.
Yeah, that's about what I've honestly would have expected. I'm happy to see that. So that means no Ramatra going to be in play. Also means can't target any tanks right now if your VA Cat Plague. So it's either got to be a damage or a support in the situation right here. But scenario is if Ramatra is gone, you're either going to dive style stuff with like Winston, or you're just going to rush it down with Junker Queen or maybe Malga instead, or maybe even the Hazard on top of that. So I'm excited to see which one it is, but if I think the dive might be a play, you could really mess them up by getting rid of something like a Ana or a Brig.
Exactly, yeah. Taking out one of those supports would be absolutely huge, but we will be able to get to see what VA Cat Plague will choose here, and I'm probably going to lean up on this support here, and it's actually going to be that DPS. This is very interesting here, Hunter.
I like this, actually. I think these are two of the more dominant characters that exist within Overwatch right now, especially in the case of Sojourn right here. I mean, when I'm watching POVs and I see the 150 energy headshot, I mean, my mind just turns off when that happens. I do not want that to be me. But either way, these are solid picks because we kind of see these kind of like solid picks come through on the first map here, because getting the momentum on that first map is extremely, extremely important.
Yeah, and let's talk about this VA Cat Plague roster. They're coming up into this pretty strongly here today. But taking a look at that DPS line, we have a blue Spazzy34, our main tank here of VA Cat Plague will be Inferno. And our two supports here, Hunter, will be Kadios and Nubin. So do expect this roster to come out, pack it a punch into what could be Dream Eaters.
Yeah, 100% in the situation right here. A lot of these players previously on previous VA teams, some of them very much together as well. So I'm excited because that's a level of synergy that's really hard to match in this kind of situation right here. And while that's not necessarily the case for their opponents here today within Dream Eaters, This is still a squad that, I mean, you look at everything that has happened. This is the team to beat, the team that went and won the midseason championship, a team that has not lost a game, that only dropped a total of 4 maps throughout all of the regular season. That is something that is definitely so difficult to accomplish in this situation right here. But of course, you got quite the lineup here before us right here. So, of course, you have Chinese, I know, over on the tank in this situation right here. You have Kuai Yu and Solar over on the DPS category. And, of course, you have Brigitte Sucks, of course. I mean, that is the best name ever. And Myro on the support category. So, I'm excited to see in the situation right here. There's a couple of teams between, obviously, previous players from ODL University and EMC Helheim in situation. So some players that do have some experience with each other, and just having that experience in general in a tournament like CGL, it does mean something at the end of the day.
Yeah, I swear, up in Dream Eater's logo right there, I think I'm seeing like a slurp juice or something. Kind of looks familiar to me, but but yeah, Dream Eaters, as you said, you know, you have a couple like university players, but you as well have this communication built into your team. But you also take a look at the other side. They've been playing for 3 years alone, right? So both two teams having a lot of communication and morale. Same with the mentality coming up into this one. So as we did say, heading up into this one, we do expect that competition between both. This could go a long series, guys, for the ones that are watching up in the Twitch chat right now. So do expect that pressure gameplay from both of the teams here tonight.
Yeah, 100%. And currently, what I'm seeing from one side of the table with Inferno being over on this Hazard, I mean, we saw the Hazard kind of being a big pick for Inferno throughout the season on the board right now. So the fact that they're running what I like to call as an assassination comp, I like it a lot. But on the other side of things, I don't know what I'm looking at from Dream Eaters right now. That's a choice.
Yeah, could be like a rotational comp, like trying to play real quick with the ball here, but let's see kind of what happens with these two comps. Oh, nice pick.
Yeah, that's a really great start to get rid of Spazzy right there. Opens up the door for Solar to play a little bit more aggressively in the situation right here. So for VA Cat Plague, they kind of have to sit by and kind of just let this go by, because Spazzy could touch, but I would just kind of hold off and wait for the next fight.
Okay, so this is actually pretty interesting, Hunter. VA Cat Plague now matching this ball-type composition that Dream Eaters is running, but I will say, with Solar playing the Pharah here and VA Cat Plague not running a hit scan, this could value for the Dream Eaters.
It very much could in the situation right here. See the Chaos in the backline right now, trying to simply hunt down the Kiriko, sitting super low as you try to get a little bit of help in there. Unfortunately, it's Nubin who'll be the first one to go down. Suddenly, it's Dream Eaters that are starting to take the fight back over right now, but nothing is decided quite yet right now as Spazzy trying to get rid of Solar, who's literally sitting out way out in the volcano at this point, gonna go for the boot, but instead is gonna nearly power drive off the side right here. So it is a lot of chaos, and to be fair, as a ball comp, Naya, that is exactly what you want, but unfortunately, it's not resulting in any flips.
Yeah, Dream Eater still holding up onto this one. Solar now switching up onto the Sombra here for Dream. But VA Cat Plague, if you want to try and get back up into this, you want to try and match that tempo phase from Dream Eaters. But take a look at this, another slam coming out from Dream.
Yeah, 100%. Not going to have any receipts, really, but you're able to get rid of one in this situation if you are Chinese Dano in the situation. It's going to be rough to really pull back without your Lucio there, but Chinese Dano just has to kind of hide away here. Looks for the time being, it's going to find its effectiveness of a 60% and counting. Inferno going to get hacked and be forced to simply get out of there and hit the reset button. Unfortunately, that reset button will be back towards the spawn.
Yeah, Pulse Bomb's going to be up online here for both of the teams. Do expect these mines to be popped from both coming up very, very shortly. But taking a look at these Tracer players, Spazzy could do something initially to Dream Eaters to get themselves back into the rhythm here with pulling some percentage forward. But we'll see what happens here. How are they going to do this? Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that's going to be a great way to get things going right now. Nubin unfortunately falls right into death with those mines right now, and it's going to be really tough to pull this back right now. Mines get thrown at the last second by Inferno. Doesn't manage to grab the Mega Health Pack, unfortunately, but with the Sound Barrier in hand, it's going to be hard to do a single thing about this. He triggered the overtime, but unfortunately, a second touch at this point is likely to not occur. And they will now. That's 100-0 to get things started right here. One-sided, and I like the fact that Solar immediately saw the fact they were mirrored and just wanted to immediately shut down the enemy ball by going over to Sombra.
Yeah, I like how Dream Eaters are definitely playing with this aggression towards VA Cat Plague. In that initial phase, VA Cat Plague was trying to read that composition of Dream Eaters by switching Inferno up onto the ball. But here we go. This is the secondary of Samoa. We do expect VA Cat Plague to get back up into the action here. Still lots to play throughout this series. But take a look at that stat line, right? You do get to see Inferno falling a tad bit short compared to Chinese Dino, which has been there with a lot of the slams, the eliminations going forward for this engage planning for Dream Eaters. But taking a look at the composition, still running out up on these balls, so you expect this to be a lot aggressive from the side of VA.
Yeah, and you see as well that Blue is more than happy to go over and match the Sombra in the situation right here. So it's all about, honestly, punishing the ball in this situation right here. If you can punish the ball and hack them in the right place at the right time, you can do a lot right now. As we see the hack over onto Solar themselves, going to get forced out into the fight, going to try to hide away. Looks like they'll be able to do so successfully for the time being. Benaya, that point is more open and ready to go right now as Dream Eater taking the advantage once again. Solar doing a lot of beautiful things, and with Blue gone, unfortunately, it's just going to be a slow burn to a lost fight for VA Cat Plague once again.
Yep, looking at that fight, you know, Dream Eaters really read the positioning from VA Cat Plague here, and now they're running with this percentage currently, but we can take a look at VA Cat Plague. They can get up into this initial phase of Dream Eaters. It just really depends with this aggression phase. You've got to see it more on the side of Chinese, but maybe it could change here.
It very much could right now. You see Chinese Dino escaping the hack for the time being, as Solar going to get caught out this time, as Blue able to successfully come away with that one. Hack being solidified over to Chinese Dino as well. Could finally be seeing the fall apart. This could be the first fight win right here, as you're going to see some members slowly start staggering onto the point, getting hacked away. Nice cleanse. Unfortunately, it's not going to mean a whole lot in the grand scheme of things right here, as eventually last touch will be taken now. So 36% only on the board here, and a lot of ults right around the corner, especially for Cat Plague.
Yeah, very, very true. VA Cat Plague, they're going to be set up into a scenario where they're going to be facing this Dream Eaters team, which only really has this Pulse, Mines, and even this Kutsune Rush ready to go. But VA Cat Plague really set up with this ultimate economy. I do expect them to keep on running with this percentage, but let's see what happens on how they position these ults.
Yeah, 100%. Inferno does have mines ready to go, is likely to pop them. In fact, it is going to cause a little bit of separation, but everybody is simply going to turn back to try to get rid of Inferno, and it does not work out for the time being right now, as Nubin finds the headshot on Demiro in the situation right here, so a lot of healing going to be taken out for Dream Eaters, and inevitably going to cause that fight to come to an end. So Cat Plague going to take advantage here, and at the end of the day, they still have the ult difference right now.
Yeah, still sitting very, very good with their DPS ultimate economy. They also have the Lucio bait still ready. So Dream Eaters, if you want to come back up into this, you can, especially with those mines up on the playing field now.
Yeah, 100% right here as you see them coming in. Solar, though, again, is going to get taken down early, and this has kind of been the adjustment we've seen from Cat Plague so far. You are going to lose out on that beat for this fight, though, as Nubin will eventually be taken out. And now the question is, how much are you willing to invest here if you are Cat Plague to try to win this one right here? And by the sounds of things right now, the answer is not really wanting to invest at all yet in this situation right here. Simply trying to stall it out, maybe get something out, but the EMP does come out. It catches on to all five, and while that is a work of beauty, unfortunately, it results in nothing happening.
Yeah, a tad bit unlucky here from the side of VA, but you're still coming back up in this scenario with a couple ultimates compared to Dream Eaters, which as well has a couple 2-on-2 scenario for both of the sides. But VA Cat Plague still kind of sitting comfortable here. They do need this point to move on to get to that third, but take a look at this, a hack up on the Chinese Dino.
Yeah, this is where you want to try to take a really aggressive, fast fight to try to force out the EMP. Unfortunately, Solar is pretty much dedicating their life to not have to use it, but they are being chased down a little bit as Spazzy eventually will be taken out, which means Cat Plague unlikely to win this fight. Now, it's interesting going to be activated by Miro here, right here, as this is a big investment overall. They use both of the support ultimates. They have double DPS ready, but Cat Plague, that means they can reset, and as long as your Lucio does not get hacked out, you have a great counter for this EMP.
Yeah, Dream Eater is still looking really, really good here, Hunter,
Oh
as they're following up on this hack up onto the ball. This could be a bad scenario, and... oh...
Yeah, and And now Spazzy has to be the touch. This isn't even it's not even a question anymore. Now EMP
Yeah.
is gonna be ready to go. They might just use it aggressively the moment touches start coming through. One comes through. We see them come with the beat right now. Do it early to try to win the fight right here and now, but it's gonna catch on to 3 blue. Not long for it this world. Pulse Song gonna be thrown out here at the end of the day. It's gonna end up trading things out, but things are slowly but surely beginning to fall apart for Cat Play being forced around Infernal. He needs to find something here very shortly if they want to have any chances. Oh, or Lucio just backs into the mines unknowingly, but at the end of the day, this is going to be that first one set in place right now. So Stream Meter is going to take the 2-0 here on Samoa to start out in this series right here. But one thing I do have to say about Cat Plague is it felt like they got better and better as the map got along. Just some really unfortunate alt usage in there.
Yeah, exactly. I do definitely agree with you here, Hunter. VA Cat Plague were just trying to match that tempo, that playstyle, the composition as well from the side of Dream Eaters. But hey, they didn't get it just yet, but we still have a long series up on our hand that could definitely happen in between these two teams. VA Cat Plague has had a wonderful season along, same with Dream Eaters. But with Dream Eaters taking that first, more likely scenario here, if they were to run that composition into VA Cat Plague, again, maybe VA Cat Plague can find some answers up on the mistakes that Dream Eaters can make against them.
Yeah, 100% here, and I think this makes some of the bans very obvious from this point as well. Obviously, at some point, I imagine Ball's going to get taken out. I imagine Sombra is likely to be taken out at some point as well, just because of the nature of you obviously don't want to keep playing the same comp over and over if you didn't win with it the first few times around. Just it's simple logic at that point. So at the end of the day, I'm curious to see where you want to go if you are Cat Play, because remember, the whole book is open to you in terms of what map type you want to go to. There are pools still, but if you want to go to a Flashpoint and simply try to run it down on Hazard instead, you get that choice. If you want to go to like Watchpoint Gibraltar and just focus on full-on dive with like a Winston, you have the option. So I'm curious to see what they want to do in the situation right here, because obviously I'd be surprised if they would just pick something like a Hollywood and just run ball again.
Yeah, that could definitely happen where they, kind of match the same composition if they were to go towards that hybrid. Or even we could see that escort come out. We could also see more of like a dive composition with Winston come up in the play with that Brig on a backline. But I wouldn't be too surprised if we were able to get to see something like a rush type composition up on push or even like flashpoints. Both great choices there for VA Cat Plague with this map choice. Same with the hero bans coming out from both of these two teams. They want to try and have a scenario for themselves against both of each other, because if you do choose a ban that's not going to work, it's kind of like, would you say it's kind of protective, or it's just kind of like a throwaway? I know that we've kind of gotten to see some teams throw away bans and then wait till like the last couple maps to counter ban the other team. So that could happen here where VA Cat Plague is waiting and Dream Eaters is just trying to think.
Yeah, honestly, I think what kind of ban you're going to have entirely depends on this map pick right here. Because if you do decide you want to dive it out here and you don't want to play the ball, you could ban the ball in that situation. But if you do go to a flashpoint, you're likely not going to see the ball. So at that point, it's kind of a waste to use the ban then and there. And in which case, you could just ban an irrelevant tank just to protect the one that you want to play. Or maybe you get rid of the Samba, so you get rid of the Sombra ball combo as well. So I'm curious what the choice is going to be here, because I think there are a lot of correct choices. I also think there are a couple of wrong choices. So even if you're just taking a shot in the dark here, you have a good chance of doing the right thing here. I just think the worst case scenario is for us to see that same mirror again, because if you don't win it the first time, there's no guarantee you're going to get it the second.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be something to definitely watch out for from both these two sides. They're going to try and match a band that feels very, very comfortable with their composition going forward here. But yeah, if you're VA Cat Plague, you definitely showed a really great aggression style up on that first map, and you could always get back up onto this Dream Eaters side. Taking Dream Eaters against VA Cat Plague, they all have communication, right? So it's more likely that we do get to see these two teams come back and kind of neutralize it, going much more further up into this series. But VA Cat Plague, you're not out of this yet. Heading up into these bans, though, very, very shortly here, Hunter, I do kind of still expect the force maybe up onto a tank or even that support backline, because if you're able to pressure the main support or even that main tank player, stuff can definitely change up in the composition with the communication between those players.
Yeah, I believe 100% it can in the situation right here. And like I previously said, I think the ban is entirely going to depend on the map choice here. And I'm excited to see what it is, because I think we're going to find out extremely quickly what kind of game Cat Plague wants to play here based upon these couple of selections we're about to see here right now. So first of all, I'm terrified that we're going to Hollywood. I'm terrified right now. So I'm hoping that we look at the ban screen, we hit the 0, and we see the ball ban, and we get some nice Winston play. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
Is that what is going to happen? I'd say there's a 50-50 shot here. Because if they decide to keep the ball into play here, then you need to target something like the Sombra in the situation and give yourself the best possible chance to make your style work here. But either way, I'm fully expecting the ball ban here. I would be rather surprised if that wasn't the case.
Yeah, I would definitely like to see these two teams kind of phase into a different composition of Winston probably happening here. I know Poke is pretty good against, you know, the attack phase when you're playing that defensive role up on Hollywood. But if two of these two teams want to still play that composition, one of them is definitely going to need to step up. We did get this EVA Cat Plague try and match it that first. But if they were to go that route, Hunter, they would definitely need to be climbing up that hill, because the first scenario wasn't that great from them. And, you know, very, very shortly, we will be able to get to see this. I still would like to see it be a tank. I feel like that'd be the best option. And yes,
there it is.
That's perfect from them.
Beautiful. And now with the ball ban out of place, you have to expect that, yes, Cat Plague should probably start looking towards running either the Diva or Winston style. And if that's the case here, there are a couple of things you could target. But I think one of the things you could target, once again, are either the Ana or the Break in the situation, because you could still force a style if you are Dream Eaters that don't involve that necessarily in the situation. I think you don't necessarily have to run the Ana Break here. I think you could still force it down with Lucio Kiriko on a map like this. Yeah. I think even something like Juno or Ilari, honestly, are still very viable on a map like this here. But the fact that these teams have played multiple times mean that Dream Eaters probably have some idea as to what kind of backline that VA is trying to run in this situation.
Exactly. So here we go. Dream Eaters will be picking that ban, and it's going to be that Brig here, Hunter. So this is now going to be pretty interesting. Maybe we'll be able to get to see that Kiriko Lucio backline with a Winston here probably, or even a Diva can come out and do some damage depending upon how they force the bombs. But taking a look at these bans, VA Cat Plague and Dream Eaters, they will be taking the Wrecking Ball and Brig out. But heading into these lineups here, this is pretty interesting. Now you have Tiger in here.
Yeah, and that's going to make things a little bit interesting. And again, not to play in too much to what we kind of see, you know, from the sheets right here, but if we did see something like the Sojourn and the Genji, it would not surprise me in the slightest. I think these are two of the strongest DPS currently in the game right now, or at the very least, they're the most versatile, because you think of Genji, you think of Dive, you think of, you know, Sojourn, you would think of Poke, but that's not the case nowadays. Genji can be played in pretty much almost any comp imaginable. I think Sojourn very much falls into that category as well. So I'm excited to see Tiger perform in the situation right here, because if we see a gap start forming in that DPS lines, I think we can really start seeing a turnaround here very quickly. But it's got to start happening here in Hollywood. Elsewise, it's going to be a very, very rough journey to make it back into winning contention.
Yeah, and, you know, let's see what VA Cat Plague can try and do against Dream Eaters. The first map was more leaning up on the side of Dream Eaters, where Dream Eaters really took advantage of the composition that VA Cat Plague were trying to run. But here we go. Dream Eaters and VA Cat Plague walking out of the spawn doors at the moment. Inferno trying to play the Winston here. Let's see how Inferno does against Chinese Dino, which Dream Eaters has been pretty equivalent with their composition style. I do expect this to still be very aggressive with them here with this 1-up score. Maybe they could go 2-0. But if that does happen here, Hunter, we do get to see some teams struggle when they do go up in a 2-0 favor. So hopefully that doesn't happen. VA Cat Plague here, though, they can make themselves clear and heard. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, Dream Eater's going to be up on the attack to get things started right here. So I think one of the most important things in this situation is going to be those anti-nades that coming out both from Miro and Nubin in the situation right here. Because remember, there is no Kiriko in the situation. There's no Brig as a shield. If you get hit with the anti, it's going to be really hard to survive if that dive goes all out on you in that situation. So I imagine that's what they're waiting for with this bubble being out. Because the moment that it's out, you're likely to see Miro look around the corner and start looking for the opportunity. And there it is, the jump trying to find something. Unfortunately, it's only Brig sucks that it gets taken out at the end of the day. So dive not all that successful, and for that time being right now, Chinese Dino likely to go down, but actually will get out with just a little bit of life still left intact.
Yeah, Tiger, though, able to get blue here up in this phase of aggressiveness here for the side of Dream Eaters. Now, this is a great position here for him because all it takes is a dive.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Nay got let out early, and while it did catch on the Chinese Dino, it's not going to do a whole lot. Here's Inferno taking a nice little nap at the end of the day, so we'll get deleted Dream Eaters. We'll be able to get through pretty efficiently here. Blue going to be the last touch for their squad with the recall. Going to try to get out, but unsuccessfully so. The Dream Eater will be able to take back over, and honestly, should be able to take a decent amount of opening space here.
Yeah, and a lot of time here, Hunter. 5 minutes and 5 seconds for Dream Eaters coming up into this gateway. And I like how they're playing with this composition. You have the Ana, you have the Lucio. So you're working with those antis, same with the speeds. But taking a look at this, Chinese able to get spazzy here. You don't have the Sojourn for the hit scan, the pressure, that far up. You could get a lot of value here if you're the Dream Eaters.
Yeah, China's Nano just have that Nano. Is probably going to go for the second dive right here. Going to go to the support backline. Going to get swept away, but gets woken up instantly. And the Primal Rage is going to get popped to try to separate to get rid of at least one of them. Nubin will, in fact, go down. And unfortunately, the counterpart not too far behind. But the singular bright side here, even though you've lost the fight here, I mean Dream Eaters barely made any progress on that card and still aren't as we speak.
Yeah, the ACAT Plague does use Pulse Bomb there. Blue getting slapped. Very, very unfortunate. But the ACAT Plague and Dream Eaters, they will have these ultimates coming up into this next fight. Tiger can be trying to look for a Pulse Bomb, but as well, you're also going to be able to see how this barrage is positioned for the Dream Eaters. Maybe they could find some value here with that and push that escorts a lot more further.
Yeah, Pulse Bomb is ready right now. Going to see whether or not it gets connected right now. It does come out. Unfortunately, not going to get a whole lot here as Inferno does get taken out at the end of the day. But Blue, once again, going to win that 1v1 right here. Unfortunately, won't be long for this world. But again, you look at that lack of push that we saw earlier. There's plenty of time for Cat Plague to regroup for another fight.
Exactly. So here we go. Cat Plague ready to go with Inferno. Primal, maybe. It needs to be kind of popped here, I'd probably say, because if you go up into this initial phase here with a lot of time facing against the Dream Eaters, it could just be a lot more dangerous, but there we go.
Yeah, and that's a bit of a miscue when it comes to that Nano as well. Didn't even have the jump ready, unfortunately. So while Cat Plague is going to hold on to the beat here, Inferno's going to try to stall things out further and further. As, yeah, we're going to see just the hold on to the beat. It's the right decision at this point because this fight's going to be really, really difficult to pull back anymore. And unfortunately, I think it's going to come to an end right about now. And now, the one thing I question in the situation is the Cassidy. It is a great counter for Pharah, 100%, but it's not a character that I don't think gets a ton of value in 2025, unfortunately.
Yeah, at the moment, you know, taking a Cassidy into the Pharah, it's not looking that beneficial for the VA Cat Plague at the moment, just because Dream Eaters has been reading the side of Spazzy there and then. But you have Spazzy coming back with this High Noon available. This can find some definite damage towards the Dream Eaters. All it takes is that speed engage plan from the side of VA Cat Plague.
Yep, could be a good boop right there. Be able to kind of force Chinese Dino out of the situation right there. So while that is a fight one, that has given them all the space in the world to put this within a one-fight territory. You speed, the speed coming through with that Deadeye. If you can get rid of at least one, this will 100% be worth it, as right now just hiding away. But will not be able to hide for long. Will peek their head out for a moment too long, unfortunately. So makes it a winnable fight right here as the backline for Dream Eater struggling a little bit, but same could be said for Cat Plague right now. We're kind of falling apart at the seams. And by the way, Beat still hasn't been popped yet in the situation, and unfortunately is going to have to be here shortly as this is disaster.
Yeah, Chinese Dino really, really cooking at the moment, using that primal range to force the VA Cat Plague a lot more further back, and the beat will be popped here from the side of VA Cat Plague. Let's see how they try and reforce this.
Yeah, they're going to get retouches 100%. Unfortunately, there's just nothing to do here. Just pretty much going to throw it in right there to blow everybody up. Inevitably, it's going to take its toll right here. They're going to be able to eventually cap with a whopping 2:57 on the clock, nearly 3 minutes.
Oof.
This is definitely not what Cat Plague had in mind going into this map with these bans. And I mean, Naya, they had a couple of good opening fights. Like, honestly, just
Yeah.
it's a struggle for them to do anything here because they're kind of playing more passively, and Dream Eaters seems to be fully taking advantage of that.
I definitely feel like VA Cat Plague has a plan up in mind where they're trying to read this composition that Dream Eaters has been running throughout the series by far. But you know, after taking a look at that, VA Cat Plague was running the Sojourn, and then they switched over to the Cassidy, and they couldn't find much against the Pharah gameplay. So it's a tad bit dangerous if you're VA Cat Plague, but you still can find a lot of answers here. Let's take a look at the stats here. Blue does fall a tad bit short compared to the DPS line of Dream Eaters, but I'm definitely liking what Dream Eaters are doing with Chinese Dino, especially with this aggression phase, where you get to see the Winston jump up in, hit the Primal Rage, push them back, get the eliminations that they need, and that's really how Dream Eaters got that phase of 2 minutes and 57, heading up into that third. But yeah, honestly here, Hunter, maybe if VA Cat Plague were to strategize around possibly diving more of the support backline, it could change the Dream Eaters just a bit. It just depends.
Yeah, I like the more aggressive style that they're going for here with Kiriko and the Echo. I think it's going to be able to play a little bit quicker. That means they can't play around anti-nades, but they were getting a ton of value right now as Blue is going to get sought out, will eventually be taken out at the end of the day. Going to see the counter dive onto the Tracer that should be able to honestly just run away and make this really an easy fight at the end of the day. So not the start that you're looking for if you are Cat Plague. And in this situation, I mean, the problem is you have to accept the trade's going to happen and just try to go all out.
Yeah, once again, 40 seconds already played here for this attack phase of VA Cat Plague. Dream Eaters really reading the side of VA Cat Plague at the moment, but if you're Blue, maybe you could sticky the backline to force a dive engage here from Inferno, which can capitalize upon, but we'll see what VA Cat Plague can do. You have this Spazzy playing the Tracer, which we do get to see this Tracer duel at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. You're seeing just kind of pushing up onto this backline, forcing everybody to split apart, which is exactly what you want right here. As Dream Eater does get forced back a little bit, but Blue eventually going to be taken out as trades start to fall in both directions right here. Problem is, it's starting to become a bit of a cluster for Cat Plague to really do a lot in this situation right here. China Sano, though, is getting extremely low, but is still going to have both the supports sitting by to help care for them.
I will say, for a substitution coming in for Dream Eaters, Tiger is playing pretty great with the position of the Sojourn against VA Cat Plague, which is running this dive comp, but taking out Inferno is huge there with the anti.
Yeah, that's that pretty much makes this a non-fight. I mean, there's no real better way to say that. Bright side is that despite the lost fights, they are very much keeping up in terms of their ult charge as well. So the copy and the rush going to be extremely useful going into this next fight.
Yeah, I do expect that Kitsune Rush to be popped here for VA Cat Plague to aggress in the side of Dream Eaters. We'll see what happens. Buzz Bomb is up online here for Dream Eaters, but take a look at that.
Yeah, it's trading out right now. Spazzy does manage to get that one right now as they're down to a 3v3 right here. Chinese Dino getting closer and closer to getting this Primal Rage on top. And I was going to say if they got it, they could secure this fight. But unfortunately for VA Cat Plague, I don't think they're even going to need it to try to win this fight away. But a copy does get invested here. This is a desperation copy right now. It's not necessarily a bad idea, but the problem is they don't have many of the supports still sitting by right here as Chinese Dino is going to be eventually forced into using this right now. First take has gone through as everyone is simply going to take their time, hide away, realize that they are in no rush to have to win this fight, and then the aggression comes through. Chinese Dino sitting super low right now, needs to be burnt away to give them any chance of the road. Naya is down to the 4v4 right now. Unfortunately, the numbers game somehow is still playing into Dream Eater's effect.
The Dream Eaters running with the Dream at the moment. Tiger ready to go with the Sojourn Ultimate. This could be very, very deadly if you are VA Cat Plague, which these, phases of your attack, you've been getting shut down from Dream Eaters. You need to find an answer here right immediately, right now, because Inferno has this Primal Rage. We know what Chinese Dino did up on the attack phase with that Primal Rage. Maybe we could see it here.
Oh, yeah, and you see that full charge coming through right now, just blasting away right now. Tiger is just not losing any health either right now, as, I mean, the beat's not going to help. Inferno being on the Primal isn't probably going to help a whole lot either. Trying to find something in this desperation to make something happen. End up getting that second tick right now, but Dream Eater is more than ready to get in here and make something happen with a Pulse ready as well. Not even really going to need the Pulse. Just going to do it for style. Get rid of Blue in this situation right here. And while it's still trying to trade back and forth a little bit, you're forcing people around. But the problem is Dream Eater constantly have somebody on at this point that's stopping you from being capped over, but they've invested everything in this fight to win. And with Ferno going down, things can be really tough to pull back here, as eventually you get someone taken out in this situation, trying the darndest to be able to survive, and eventually it will happen. But my God, is Chinese Down just trying to hold on as long as they possibly can. And eventually, they will take the win, but man, did it take literally everything that Cat Plague had left.
Gideo's making it look really good with the 2-boop scenario there for VA Cat Plague. Now they're pushing this escort in this much further here to have a lifeline in this Hollywood map set, but you're taking a look at this. Blue has this duplication ready to go. This can be aggressed into Dream Eaters, but this is so unlucky.
Yeah, it really is unlucky in that regard right there. But the ante is also kind of tough right there, but you've been more than happy to just use the cleanse instead, as, I mean, Cat Plague are just going to keep getting aggressed ton on this corner, unfortunately.
So Dream Eaters, you're still looking pretty good at the moment. You've been holding the Cat Plague really, really well. But Dream Eaters, you have this Lucio beat ready to go. You're also trying to charge up those DPS. But the aggression definitely needs to be here for VA Cat Plague. Maybe we could see this duplication be popped here.
Yeah, I really hope that ends up being the case right here. It's the one open that's really going to help you out. Bricksuck, of course, has that sound barrier ready to go. But with Blue being taken out before the copy even comes out, this essentially almost solves the fight right here. Now, Dream Eaters could secure it with another ult if they really wanted to, but the fact that you're going to have all 5 standing by means you don't really have to invest here. And now, their ults are pretty much set for the entirety of this last minute.
Yeah, once again, Dream Eaters reading the scenario of VA Cat Plague up on what they need to use for an initial fight plan. But VA Cat Plague, here we go. This is another chance for you to try and force yourself into the side of Dream Eaters, which the ultimate economy is so dangerous.
Yep, Beat gonna be invested though, gonna force Chinese Down to get out of there. Beat invested right back by Brigitte in this scenario. Nano, in fact, is brought in as well. Is Tiger the only run from Dream Eaters with an ult still on the table right now? Eventually gonna see the backline begin to be hunted down right here. Inferno going to invest in this scenario, trying to find something, but at the end of the day, it's trade-out after trade-out right here. At the end of the day, it is favoring Dream Eaters, who invested 4 ultimates into the fight, as Cat Plague do the exact same thing with the Pulse Bomb, and unfortunately, this scenario is not working out in their favor in the slightest.
Yeah, this is very, very unfortunate for the side of VA Cat Plague, and taking a look at that, Inferno's out. This is very, very likely that this will side into the Dream Eaters, but the Kitsune Rush, maybe this is their only last hope.
It really is right now. Blue trying to run for their lives. Unfortunately, it's still going to result in death being placed in right now. Pulse Bomb ready to go, but it's really not even really needed at this point. Inferno likely going to be the recipient of it here, if it can even be the case. So unfortunately, Spacey, last touch in the situation, no one will be anywhere close. So for Dream Eaters, it is another dominant one to get things going here. Going for the Kobe, unfortunately not quite working out, as Dream Eaters going to be on match point already, and things just not looking great for Cat Plague. They have these moments of brilliance. Unfortunately, it's just they have a plan set up, but Dream Eaters happens to always be at least a second ahead and seem to interrupt them every chance they get.
Yeah, I feel like with Dream Eaters facing up against VA Cat Plague, they do know the sides of, you know, whether who is who. But, yeah, Dream Eaters doing a very, very fantastic job with this, you know, aggression in between these scenarios where these dives come out, but as well, VA Cat Plague in the scenarios, you went in a lot of times, and you got very, very shut down from Dream Eaters. So what we need to try and figure out here, Hunter, is how VA Cat Plague is going to try and come back up into this series, because now it's that uphill battle. That reverse sweep needs to happen for VA Cat Plague to stay alive in this winners round, and you don't want to get sent down to that losers, because you don't know what that loser's opponent can do to you.
You don't, and you can think of the positive side and think, we drop down, we can win that one, and come back to that game with momentum, and not have to sit by for an extra few days if we do win this match. But the thing is, they have to start falling into some kind of style right here. They tried the ball, hasn't really worked. They tried the Winston, didn't really work at all in the situation. And we see Inferno has just this hazard listed in every category imaginable. I was hoping to see it at some point here, and I'm imagining that I hope that's what we see on map 3. But, you know, the bright side of this situation right here is that we will have a break here. So for a few minutes, Cat Plague is going to be able to chillax, calm things down a little bit, re-strategize, think about what they really want to do with these bans coming forward, because these are going to be the most important bans right here. It's going to set the pace for what could be either a very long series or could be a very short one. Which one is it going to be? You're going to find out after this break. So a few minutes, we'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us once again here for this match to be deciding the first grand finalist in the EU Masters division. And going into this one, it was the two top teams right now. But Naya, from what we've seen so far, and obviously from the score below, one team very clearly coming out on top with Dream Eaters, who are just one map away from securing that spot and getting to simply watch Cat Plague and Anomaly battle out on the losers bracket and get to simply sit by, learn a bunch of information, and just everything in the world. So right now, Cat Plague gotta have something up their sleeve, and by the fact that it being Saravasa, I like the direction they're going now.
Yeah, exactly. The score has definitely been up in the favor of Dream Eaters, but as well, the stat line too. The stats have been cooking for Dream Eaters. They've been following up on multiple elimination, kill feeds, but as well, we've been seeing less of VA Cat Plague go up in that kill feed. Maybe this is their chance here. We did kind of quote a hazard can come out in play, but we have Saravasa, we have rush type compositions that can be played, we have brawl that can be played. Do we expect the dive to still go up into factors here? We did get to see a wrecking ball played, but stuff can shift here up in this third, and it definitely needs to if you're VA Cat Plague.
Yeah, the one thing I'm scared of in this situation right here is maybe they are dedicated to running the hazard here. If you want to run it for a fact at that point, you need to ban out something like Doomfist, Malgus, something dumb, just to make sure you can secure that. If you go to try to, go after one of their picks, that leaves the hazard open to being banned at that point. So I'm curious what it's going to be in the situation right here, because I think there are a lot of great answers here, and I'm curious if one of them is going to be correct. Ana, I think that's not the worst decision in the world. I think Ana has been very effective right now for Dream Eaters, but I think there are probably some better picks in there.
Yeah, like you could have banned the Lucio or even the Juno. I do feel like if you were to take one of those two out, it could definitely change up the whole entire thing. But taking out the Ana, you don't got to worry about the antis or the sleeps. But now we have the DPS and tank. If you're Dream Eaters here, now you could even pressure this more onto the Cat Plague with possibly I'd probably still say the tank, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out before with the Ramatra. Obviously, we haven't seen the Ramatra yet, but we know the Ramatra could make an appearance. It's Dream Eaters cannot ban that character twice. But honestly, the thing that scares me the most is that they might go ahead and ban that hazard and just take away the possibility entirely right now. And it turns out that is, drum roll please, not going to be the case. Sombra's taken out, which means... Are Dream Eaters going to play ball then? Is this what's going to happen? Like playing ball here on Saravasa?
But could it happen?
Yes,
Yeah, I mean, the Cat Plague has the Ana ban, but then Dream Eaters has the Sombra. But the real question here is, will VA Cat Plague bring in substitutions, right? I do feel like the roster has been fitting for VA Cat Plague, but hasn't been finding answers. Maybe this is the time to bring in some, fresh new pairs of legs for VA Cat Plague, because in the last couple fight scenarios here, Hunter, for them against Dream Eaters, it's been read like a book. Like, they have been flipping pages and they really haven't been stopping, if you are Dream Eaters. But yeah, Dream Eaters, we do kind of expect them to still be a lot of aggressiveness heading up into the Saravasa. As you said, we can see that ball get played here, and I wouldn't be too surprised if we were to be able to get to see that, because so much slams happened there up in that Samoa game. Against VA Cat Plague here, starting out the series. So we'll see what happens. But if you're VA Cat Plague, you definitely need to find an answer here to come back onto Dream Eaters.
Yeah, the one thing I really say is with the Ana and the Sombra being taken out of this equation, especially the Ana, you get rid of some of the potential combos you get with that Wrecking Ball. We see a lot of the time where we'll see the nade come in and the slam directly after, or sometimes vice versa. And if you don't have a Kiriko or like a Baptiste or something in that regard, there is essentially nothing you can do about at that point, but pray that the Tracer or the ball's mechanics just fall off a cliff for the next 2 seconds. That is your biggest prayer right there. So I'm curious what the adjustment is going to be, because the thing is, being on a map type like Flashpoint, if things aren't going well, you do have that ability to just make that big swap without having to really do much. If you know you're going to lose, the point on this next fight, sometimes you could simply decide to, back off instead, make your swaps, and just reconvene and go for the next point instead. That possibility does exist. Unfortunately, Flashpoint is a mode where you don't know what point's going to be next, so it's kind of sometimes a bit of a luck of the draw as to whether or not that'll be the case. But Naya, either way, we're set to get into what might be our final map of the series, unfortunately. So see what the case is going to be as. By the way, Cerebos just looks so beautiful, doesn't it? It's a beautiful map.
Yeah, I love the little reflection up on the water there with the sun hitting, the boats are floating, but there are also some crocodiles there up in the water. But, as we did say, Chinese will be running that ball, but as well, VA Cat Plague back with Inferno playing the Winston here. Is this the, thing that you do want to run against Dream Eaters? Because last scenario, it wasn't finding much. Same with Spazzy up on the Cree.
I think this is a little bit different. I think there's not as many high grounds. I like the fact that Inferno can play this a little bit more aggressively. You can play this sort of like a death ball in a way. The problem that I'm still having is the fact they still have the Cassidy out there, because the Cassidy can work well against the Tracer, but the problem is the Tracers are going to be having their own little battle on the side right here, and I don't really see them interrupting the honorable 1v1 of the situation right here. As Inferno, went out like a flame. That is a little unfortunate right there, as Tiger doing a lot to get this team started right now. Blue getting forced out of the fight. Spazzy does end up finding the pick, so this fight really isn't over quite yet in this situation right here, but the point might as well be capped already.
Yeah, so Dream Eaters do cap this one. Tiger will be playing around these positions versus VA Cat Plague, which, as we did say, Spazzy will try and kind of match what Tiger provides here.
Yeah, 100%. You're going to see Chinese Dino just kind of hang on the outside for a little bit right here. You're going to see them try to potentially find the cap on the point. Will do so, as unfortunately, Dino did not really find the touch, but Inferno goes down, and it's almost like they didn't touch the point in the first place. So Spazzy does manage to find one, does manage to find a second, so the fight not over quite yet right here. Spazzy does have the ult. Unfortunately, it's just not really going to happen right here. So bright side is you force the flip in the scenario, you get a little bit of percentage, and you should be able to start coming back here without too much delay.
Yeah, and that's actually pretty good here from the side of VA Cat Plague. You have these DPS ultimates now. You could also see Ketios return to this fight with Spazzy to engage off of a speed fight for the Cat Plague. But Dream Eaters, you're still looking really, really set. You're running with this percentage.
Yeah, 100%. Looking all right for the time being right now. Chinese Dino has been pressured out. Blue has a pulse arm ready to go. Gonna use the ult simply to make sure people stay on the point right here. It's not gonna find any picks at the end of the day, but it gets you back to the point. So even if you lose this fight, you still have an opportunity right now, as Brigitte Suck's gonna be pretty much deleted on the spot right now. Spacey being given a bunch of pressure, but will be given that cleanse for the time being. Unfortunately, will not be able to come back for the pulse bomb, and we see the pop-off coming to with you right now, and eventually the wipe will come through. But the bright side of the situation here, as Blue will eventually be taken out, the fact that Inferno keeps stalling away in this scenario means that a recontention here is extremely likely.
Yeah, a lot more closer here up in the Suravasa phase. Flashpoint really likes to go quick sometimes in between two teams, but Dream Eaters, now you have these mines ready to go. You also have this Sojourn that can pop here, but I do expect that Kitsune Rush to be popped. Yes, it will be.
Yeah, 100% right here. Tiger gonna be thrown away right there as the mine's being thrown onto the point right now. It's creating a weird 4v4 environment right now as you're considering right now using the mines if you are Chinese Dino right now, but Inferno being kind of burnt away as we speak right now. Blue, unfortunately, going to go, and mines haven't even been activated. It means this is going to be next to impossible to really pull away, but they're doing their darndest to keep maintaining pressure onto that point right now. Support's staying alive, as you might be considering using the beat in this situation here. Unfortunately, it looks like it's eventually going to fall apart here. If you invest the beat, you're giving everything to take this away, and inevitably at the end of the day, you lose the fight. The bright side is, though, you do force out quite a bit of ultimates here, so you should be able to go in with a small advantage as Blue for the pulse bomb, and never mind.
Oh, yeah. All right, so VA Cat Plague, you can still find some answers here. No worries. You have this Kree ultimate coming back, right? We know what Spazzy can do with a speed engage plan, but VA Cat Plague, if this is your chance, maybe you could find this upper hold up on the high ground with this Cassidy.
Yeah, 100% the situation, but Blue, unfortunately, has already gone down. Spazzy not far behind. It is a rinse-repeat scenario that right now is doing wonders for the Dream Eater squad. And unfortunately, it's just going to fall apart like that. It is as simple as that for them. This isn't some super high-dimensional plan. This is a very simple rinse and repeat that unfortunately Catplay just isn't able to stop.
Yeah, as you said, rinse and repeat. Dream Eaters really sweeping the floor at the moment with a mop, and Pulse Bomb still ready to go for Dream Eaters. We can find a lot of damage up on the side of the Catplay if you or them. But Spazzy's still ready to go with their ultimate. We're still waiting on what Spazzy could do. I do expect this to be aggressed in the Dream Eaters because that's really the only ultimate that you can pop.
Yeah, but Inferno's taken out already due to the Pulse Bomb here as Spazzy.
Oh, no.
But I don't know if that was intentional or not. I'm not going to say whether it was or was not. But one thing we do know is Blue does manage to get rid of their counterpart in this situation. So a retouch still extremely available. In fact, there's a lot of ultimates available for them to take this fight.
The ultimate economy really showing from both of the sides. Mine's ready to go. You also have this beat up on the side of Dream Eaters, but take a look at that. Tiger able to get Nubin here without the Kitsune. But yeah, very nice aggressive play.
Yep, mine's gonna be Bolden right here. Gonna see if you can find something right here. Gonna zone it out, but unfortunately, Chinese Daniel eventually gonna be forced out right here, but eventually over time does get pushed further. The point is going to flip temporarily, but now Nubin has to make the difficult decision right here whether or not to pop this Kitsune rush right here, as it's definitely a tough one to make. And right now, I might be considering it a bit more in this scenario with the trade out right there, as you're eventually going to see Inferno get pushed out all the way. It's not going to grab the Mega Health back, which means they're going to be deleted, and that means it is map point already, only one away from securing that spot in the Grand Finals.
As you said, map point, even match point here too for the side of Dream Eaters. They're coming back into this one with both of their DPS, Kitsune Rush, also charging up too. So 3 ultimates charging for the side of Dream Eaters, but VA Cat Plague, you're going to have to try and work with this Kitsune Rush. I did like what Nubin did there. They didn't pop it. They weren't trying to rush anything for VA Cat Plague there. So very smart decision. But VA Cat Plague, now you need to find some answers. It's an uphill battle here from now.
Yeah, Blue, though, has to recall with just barely within an inch of their life right here. Team Tiger trying to clean things up right now as you speak, and it's all that pressure being delivered. Blue, it's just in the middle of nowhere, unfortunately. Gets deleted, and now for VA Cat Plague, you got to take the reset. You use the majority of your ultimates to try to respond, and now things not looking good.
Yeah, the cats are not scratching into the side of Dream Eaters, and Dream Eaters, though, still very great, line of sight with their eyes, and Chinese Dino really coordinating with the dives, even the speeds coming out from the Lucio, right? Dream Eaters really finding these engage plans against VA Cat Plague. I do feel like VA Cat Plague are pulling a tad bit more mistakes than Dream Eaters here in these scenario fights, but if they can equalize a tempo pace, they can find their way back up into it.
Yeah, but this is the very last opportunity they're going to have in the situation. It is do or die from here on out, and getting rid of Miro.
There you go.
Definitely a good way to get things started right here, and it looks like inevitably they should be able to win this fight, but regardless of that, it's still going to be in that one fight territory with it being 72%. Getting a pick on to Brigade Sucks would be massive. Unfortunately, not going to be the case.
At least it's not like 99%, right? So there's a space in between that 99. They are currently at 72, but VA Cat Plague, you have ultimates against this ultimate economy of Dream Eaters, and the mines will be popped, so spacing the side of Dream Eaters, probably.
Yeah, 100% in that situation. But either way, it's going to be the quick cleanup. Flip is over right now. Inferno, the only member left of the squad, is tasked with the touch at the end of the day. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen. And with that being the case, unfortunately, that is going to essentially solidify right there. Dream Eaters getting to move on right now. Desperation Touch is trying to come through. It will come through momentarily, so it is delaying what unfortunately may or may not be the inevitable. Booped off, nearly gets taken off the side of the clip, trying to find something right now, but gets stuck right now, ends up taking one with him, and this is a great fight back, trying to make something happen. At the end of the day, though, it's a beat right now that's going to come through within an inch of their life, keeping things alive. I love everything they're throwing into this fight, knowing that their life here at the winner's bracket is very much on the line, but Tiger wants to try to stop things right here and now. And ladies and gentlemen, maybe I spoke too soon. It's a possibility, but inevitably it is going to be shut down. But VA Cat Plague does not want to go down without a fight. Unfortunately, though, Dream Eaters will not falter. They'll move on to the Grand Finals, and Cat Plague will have to fight for their life against Anomaly.
VA Cat Plague, you still have hope. You do get sent down to this loser's brackets after the result here of a 3-0 against Dream Eaters. And I did like how the VA Cap did play here today, Hunter, but it really wasn't the morale or attitude that they needed to bring into the game. Just the playstyle wasn't there today for this squad, but now you have Dream Eaters making their way up into this grand finals. You're set. You have multiple days to practice against an opponent which will definitely try and make it to that grand finals scheme of things, making it out of the losers bracket, which will be happening in the next couple days, if I'm pretty sure. But yeah, Dream Eaters, really, really solid understanding up on how they played here tonight. VA Cat Plague, though, getting read like a book, as I said, right? But it's no worries, right? VA Cat Plague can definitely shoot back up into it. This is a great team overall. They can find a way to get out of that phase of getting backed up into a wall. And Dream Eaters, though, still looking very, very good with their communication overall, but as well VA Cat Plague. They tried their best today.
I mean, yeah, these are the mid-season champions for a reason. The team that I think the only team now at this point that hasn't taken any loss in any regard whatsoever. So they move on to those grand finals. They'll have to wait to see who their opponent is going to be. And obviously, you hope that Cat Plague has that ability to bounce back in that situation right there. They have bounced back in the past. The ability is definitely there, but the problem is you definitely have to learn something within that match right there. It's not enough to simply somehow get past that match and then focus on there. You have to really take what you have learned within these 3 maps and do your best to utilize it for your last 2 matches of the season. Because if you don't, unfortunately, there's a chance we might not even see them in the grand finals. But Naya, that's it for a whole different day. As much as I would love for us to go back-to-back, finish this division right here, we got to get an interview set up. So we're going to cut it to a quick break, get everything set up. But when we're back, one of the members of Dream Eater is going to talk about how excited they are about being in the grand finals. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once more to the conclusion of our matchup to determine one of the grand finalists in the EU Masters Division. Dream Eaters securing that spot very handily so. And joining us, not just one person, but two people joining us for this interview today. We have Kwayu and Tiger joining us. And obviously, first and foremost, congratulations on getting that first spot in the grand finals.
Thank you,
Thank you.
100%. And obviously going to this matchup today, this is the third time that you have gone against this Cat Plague squad previously. And both times, y'all won those previous matchups. So, I mean, going into this one, what's the mindset any different than usual?
You want to start us off, Kwayu?
Yeah, I'll guess. But I mean, this is like, I'm quite a new addition, so this is actually my first time facing VA. And yeah, they played a good game. I think they'll, I think we'll definitely meet them in grand finals. But yeah, I think we just had the superior team play mechanics and coach with the bands. You know, shout out to my coach. That's after, isn't it?
Yeah, frankly, this is my second or third time going up against VA. I can't remember, but honestly, I don't feel like it's any different. Frankly, it was quite easy for us yet again. So honestly, not much has changed. But they're a pretty good opponent, though.
That's really good. I mean, Dream Eaters overall, you guys definitely had that physicality going up into that game against the VA Cat Plague. But did you expect VA Cat Plague to have that fight against you guys there in this series? I know that it was one-sided, but did you guys think that it was going to go a tad bit longer than this one, as we did get to see?
No.
No?
No.
Valid answer.
Not quite.
Answer.
Yeah.
I mean, like from my teammates, they've been hyped up. They've been hyping up VA a bit, so I was expecting a little bit more of a challenge. But yeah, they played a good game. It just wasn't enough, fortunately, for them.
This is true.
I mean, understandable at the end of the day. History, it has just simply been repeating itself when this matchup comes up. But obviously, as y'all have kind of already said, you kind of expect to go up against VA Cat in that in the grand finals again. I'm gonna delve into that a little bit further. That lower bracket matchup with Anomaly. Do you think there's any chance in the world that perhaps it is Anomaly you might see in the grand finals with you instead?
Honestly, you never know. It would be quite the surprise if we do see Anomaly in the grand finals. But if it's either grand finals or VA, I think we got this pretty easy.
Yeah, what Tiger said. I think like either or. I think we got this. But yeah, if we do see VA like lose in lower bracket, that would be a big surprise. Yeah.
Yeah, I do feel like VA will definitely climb back up into the scenario where they will kind of face you forward into the grand finals. But you know, we have that lower match to decide up on who will be facing you two. But a question for Tiger. With your performance here tonight overall, how do you feel? I mean, the Sojourn gameplay was popping off from you. Your positioning and everything overall was fantastic. But with just like the communication, how was it with the team overall?
Well, first of all, thank you. I feel like I could have popped even more up, but thank you so much. As for the communication, I think we're a very well-rounded team, whether it be gameplay-wise or comms-wise. So, I mean, we practice a lot together, so definitely comms, we're not an aspect that's been lacking or will lack in the near future.
That's epic.
Straightforward at the end of the day. Love to hear it. But obviously, we want to let y'all obviously go celebrate with the team or sleep. You know, it's getting a little later over there. But before we send y'all off, if there's anybody you want to thank or just anything additional you want to add on, we're gonna go ahead and open up the floor to both of you.
You want to go first?
Nah,
yeah,
you go.
Oh, okay, I'll go first. All right, I'd like to thank my mom, my dad,
all right,
my family. You know, overall, they're not watching, they don't know I'm doing this, but you know, I'd like to thank them. My coach, Maro, he's the GOAT. And I'd like to thank Dino Conda forever.
Yeah, he took Dino Conla from me. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That said, I want to thank everybody who supports Stream Meters alongside of the way. Honestly, we're not gonna let you down ever. I want to thank my country, the people from Panama watching the stream. Love y'all. Repping.
You know, now it's not every day we see somebody shout out their own country. I love to see that the national pride right there. But either way, once more, congratulations on the win, and obviously best of luck in that match in the grand finals.
Thank you.
But y'all are free to go and celebrate with the team because y'all have 100% entered. So have yourselves a good night.
All right. Good night.
Yeah, good night to you two. Have a lovely rest of your day.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Very much. Well, there you have it there. I like the confidence, by the way. That is a very confident squad we're seeing right now.
Yeah, it's very good for like the mentality, as well as the communication overall from the Stream Eater squad. They've been playing with each other for quite a long time, and the performance here tonight against VA Cap like definitely showed. And the standard will definitely be much more higher moving into that grand finals phase of things for the Dream Eaters. Maybe they can conclude their moment in the grand finals with maybe a stronger series score of possibly a 4-0. I mean, Dream Eaters had a very, very solid statement against VA Cat Plague here tonight here, Hunter. And if VA Cat Plague, though, were to get up into the grand finals scheme of things, the team will definitely need to study and analyze this match, as we did say. Especially, like, we have, like, the VOD reviews that we could do now these days. Looking back at, like, the replays, I definitely feel if VA Cat Plague were to analyze this Dream Eater squad, they can come back into a phase and cook possibly the Dream Eaters. I don't know. Naya might be over, predicting this, but anything could happen. This is Overwatch, Hunter.
No, I'm excited for this right now. What actually is going to happen is that one of the teams is going to come in with the Money in the Bank contract and just the grand finals will turn into a 3-way match. That's what's going to happen. That's the prediction right here and now. But either way, obviously a lot of things are being settled within CGL in total right now. Is hopefully we can get everything updated on this lovely bracket as looks like it very much is updated right now. So we'll be able to see that lower bracket match, Anomaly versus VA Cat Plague. So I'm excited at the end of the day because some people, might see that as it's going to be updated momentarily. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, I mean, top 3 teams left. I mean, it's impossible to not be excited to some extent.
Yeah, Dream Eaters, really, really well done performance. This was a team that cooked against Gallica, now cooking against VA Cat Plague, and now they are here up in this grand finals thing. And, as we did say, that losers bracket run for Anomaly can still be running for them. It just depends if they could take on the VA Cat Plague with as much strength as possible, because VA Cat Plague can shoot their way back up into the scenario of grand finals. But, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But another CGL event that will be happening later this May, I do believe, will be the Copa America, Hunter. And we have some special teams of nations from the side of South America: Peru, Brazil, Chile, and Argentina. Really, really well done.
Yeah, I'm excited to really see this, of course, broadcasted in 3 different languages as well. So no matter really where you come from, we got something for you here. So if you're from the US code, obviously we'll have some American casters here to bring you that action. But I'm excited for it because it's not every day we get to see that South American action. Obviously, we got to see it a fair amount between, obviously, with, Face It having its South America division and having our own thing here in CGL as well, having the South America for the very first time in terms of a regular season here in CGL. So it's just exciting to see more and more of it kind of coming to the forefront because this is a division, unfortunately, for quite a few years, unfortunately, got neglected. So being able to see them in the situation right here, be able to see them more, I mean, you got to be happy about it.
Yeah, I'm like so excited to see what happens here during this event of Copa America up in CGL. But yeah, Hunter, so much special things will be happening there on May 16th. But yeah, I'm just really excited overall to see what those two groups can do. I know Argentina and Brazil are pretty strong, but as well Chile and Peru have some really, really great players overall for their national team lineup. But yeah, I mean, I'm basically finished with my words overall.
I mean, I essentially am too. All I can say is just make sure to keep watching out for the next week because, barring some people being silly with their schedules, we'll be finishing up within the week's time in the situation. As if you want to keep watching this, however,
Wow.
there is very much a game going on CGL 1 right now, a grand final for that matter. EMC Kanidos Bliss Excelsior right here. This has really been an underdog battle for Bliss Excelsior, and maybe not off to the best start imaginable, unfortunately, but it's a first to four, Naya. Anything can genuinely happen.
Yeah, Kanido's really gonna try and prove a point here against Bliss Excelsior, but I do feel like Bliss Excelsior is in a great spot, right? Marauders dropped out in the bracket alone, and maybe this is a chance to hold their organization high for the Bliss economy, right? So I do feel like if they could find some answers here against Kanidos, I know that me and you definitely covered Kanidos alone with, I believe it was Bliss Marauders, but yeah, Bliss Excelsior overall, really, really good team. They could find the answers in short and sweet time. But Kanidos, they have such great line. That series alone, though, should be one to definitely watch. Definitely tune up into that one, which is happening right now. But yeah, overall, maybe I do like a quick prediction up on that series.
Yeah, I mean, I would say a 4-1 personally. I think that's
4-1?
I think that's the most likely thing personally. Just be personally, I think Bliss Excelsior have some fight in them. This is, and when I mean this is a team that did not have a great
Yeah.
run in the regular season. The fact that they are here in the grand finals is already a massive underdog story in its own right, and it's not by. And let me tell you, it's not by forfeit. They beat these teams. They fair and square beat two really good teams and got into this position. You can't hold anything against this squad. The fact they're here is already a testament to how strong they have gotten over the course of the season.
I mean, overall, I know that I was a Bliss player with their organization. I know how they run things up in that org. But having Excelsior face Kanidos, I do likely favor a 4-0 here just because on how Excelsior has been performing throughout the season. I know that it's a strong opinion, but with Kanidos really, really proving a point in between, multiple teams up in their group, I do expect the EMC to really just keep on cooking. They have a very, very well player stat line. The DPS line has been cooking. I know that me and you definitely covered it. We got to see so much action, but yeah, 4-0 probably for my prediction heading up into that one. But, Bliss Excelsior can get that map, as you said. Anything could happen.
Yeah, anything can happen, and obviously you could go over there right now and go watch it, or you can still stick around as we're going to raid them here in a couple of minutes' time to get into that match as they're ready to go into the third map, picking away their bans. Winston has been banned. I hate it here. Hate it here so much.
Ooh.
But either way, in terms of CGL2, we are going to be wrapping things up for the afternoon right now. But of course, we got some NA games later on tonight that are getting scheduled away right now. So hopefully some amazing action going to be coming your way. But yeah, that really is just gonna be it in the situation here for us today. But I mean, at the end of the day, while it is a quick one, I mean, the fact that we see dominant teams, that in itself is also extremely exciting to see at the end of the day. So, I mean, if you have anything else to add on, this is the time to do so because I'm ready to get out of here. I want to eat a sandwich.
I mean, I got one thing to say, and the Overwatch community is gonna love me for it. And it's one simple thing. Winton.
Gotta love your Wintons here, ladies and gentlemen. But all things considered, looks like we're ready to head things out here. But seriously, thank y'all for coming out, watching us here today. Make sure to go watch CGL 1 to watch the conclusion of the EUGM Grand Finals that are taking place as we speak. And make sure to keep supporting CGL for the next week as well, as we're going to round out all of our divisions between North America, South America, and Europe. But for the time being, again, thank y'all so much. We hope y'all enjoy yourself. And if we don't see you tonight, have yourself a great rest of your week.